Greetings everyone, a warm welcome to you all. Namaste. Hey, thank you for joining me, guys. This is Gemini's September reading for 2018, and if you've watched any of the other readings that I've uploaded for this month, you'll know we're doing the traditional Celtic cross. It's actually quite a profound reading, and I feel it usually carries the energies for far longer than a month. So this might be well worth coming back to over the next few months and having a look at the messages and seeing how they plan out. So it's not one I normally do, the Celtic cross, but it seems to be quite popular with everyone at the moment too, so we'll move into the reading in a minute. First of all, I did some intuitive work for you guys, and you got the number 8, one of my favourite numbers. It's a manifestation number, the colour pink, also heart and manifestation. Some of the words that came were acknowledge the power of your mind and your ability to manifest your desires. Know how the law of attraction works and clarify your wants and needs. You have entered a powerful cycle of divine manifestation. If your requests are for the greater good, then providence will be there for you. So wow, that was a pretty good one, Gemini. I think you did really well out of the sort of intuitive messages that were divined for you guys. Remember, we have just come out of the 3 eclipses, and they've been fairly intense, and there were also retrograde planets all going at once. So we've had a particularly unusual planetary influence across us as humans on the planet, and probably even for the planet and the whole solar system and galaxy. So things have been a little bit tempestuous, and we have been having to work a little bit on shadow energies or thoughts or things that we may have been hiding from. So let's get into shuffling your cards and see what's actually in store for you with this Celtic cross reading. This is for Gemini. The first card is you and the heart of the matter right now, and you have got the Knight of Rods. The second card is what challenges you, and you've got the Justice card. The third card is the conscious goal, and you have got Temperance. The fourth card is the unknown influence, the Ace of Swords. The fifth card is a past influence. The sixth card is an approaching influence. Very nice. The 7th is the inner resource or talent. Nice again. The 8 is how others see you. 9 is how your hopes, dreams or fears. And number 10 is your outcome. So let's have a look. I'll move this camera so that we can see all of the cards at once. And I know you won't get necessarily a really clear picture of them, but it gives you the overall perspective anyhow. So I think that's probably about as clear as it's going to get. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcanas and an ace. So we will get into the into the reading for you, and I will just take this one out of the way temporarily so you can see the first card, which is you, or the heart of the matter right now. Now the Knight of Rods, he's often about their kind of like they fire things up and they create new activity. The rods are our creative passion in life. So what we aspire to, or our projects or our passions, and often our careers as well. So for some of you, you might have this on your mind, something about a career, or moving forward with it, or changing direction, or being empowered or re-empowered by it. There could be some of you looking for new careers out there as well, because the Knight of Rods can often do that sort of thing. He does tend to infuse us with energy and excitement and impulse and fire and passion. So it doesn't just have to be in the career zone. This could be anything you're passionate about in life. It could be finding a partner, or saving to buy a house, or going on a trip overseas as well. But it feels as though you might be fired up right now about this project or idea in your mind, and perhaps you're making ground plans to make these dreams come into reality and to be able to be manifested. So I guess from that perspective, he's a really good card to have got. as in much that he is a bit of a manifester, and that was part of your divination that came in. Sometimes he can represent a person, and it can be a fire sign energy or a rising fire sign energy, and he might be around you as either a friend or someone like a co-worker, and he might be involved in decisions you make or directions you take one way or another as well. The card that crosses you is your challenge is the Justice card. It's quite a karmic card and often known as a Libra energy card. When it turns up in a reading in a sort of normal position, it usually bodes quite well that anything that you might have been requiring legal assistance for would bode well in your favour. So say you had some fines to pay, or you had a court case to go to, or you were waiting for money to be repaid back to you, it would all bode quite well. But given that this is the Justice card in the blocked position, it makes me think that if some of you are waiting to hear about a court case or a legal transition going on, or documentation or signing of something, or the breaking down of, say, a relationship such as a divorce or a personal intimate relationship, or even a business that you're dissolving, there could be hold-ups here one way or another. It might be that you expected something to happen this month and that it's being pushed out further, or there's not the correct information that's been provided to the people who are servicing it, or the other person is backtracked, or there could be something along those lines. So legal proceedings might not go quite the way you anticipate for this month. It could also mean, from the karmic perspective, that there's still something you need to work on, and this can often come back to relationships, family, ancestral things. It can be our health as well, so karmic health issues that have come through a whole past life or this entire life, and we're working on clearing them, but they may have got stuck. So it might be something that you have to focus on or meditate with or connect with, like a healer that might be able to figure out what exactly is creating these blockages for you, and then you can free them and move on to the next step. We all have a blockage one way or another, and this reading purely gives you access to understand what it might be that's blocking situations, so that you can find freedom to move forward. If we look at the third card, which is the conscious goal, we have Temperance up there. Way up here, it seems a long way away. She is about balance primarily, and balance at all levels, so emotional, physical and spiritual. I often think of her as requiring physical balance in things like the diet, exercise, hormones in particular, especially for women, and for men as well. So remember, when our hormones are out of kilter, we can often be prone to things such as anger, temper, depression, anxiety, feeling physically unwell, and also things like thyroid problems or pituitary problems. There's a whole raft of things that occur when our body is out of sync. So it might be a time to have a good health check, especially given we're coming into the change of seasons right now as well. So September is always a month where the earth goes through a big change herself, and often we do as humans. So I think it's a good card to say, yeah, that's a great idea, I'm going to have a health checkup. The other thing about the Temperance is she says to modify what you're doing and think about it twice. So if you're thinking about rushing out to, spend 30,000 on an amazing overseas trip, when you might just as well have some bills that need paying, perhaps that's another way of tempering things as well. She also has in the background there a beautiful scenic area, and she often gives us the feeling of being outdoors and feeling at one with nature and relaxing and understanding the harmony that being in a natural space can give us, and how regenerative it can be. And it charges our batteries, and it gives us satisfaction and inner peace and harmony. So there's also a message there about, if you can, spend time outdoors and really connect with it. You might find some answers to problems that you've had, so you might find solutions. Some of you might also be going on a holiday to a place like that, and this might be part of your conscious goal, and you're looking forward to either the planning of it or the actual execution of the holiday itself. You see the light around her head. Sometimes that means she does get ideas coming in, and these could be quite insightful ideas that again take you forward and clear blockages up, such as we've just mentioned there. It can also reference that you may go through a bit of pain around your head, neck and shoulders, and some of you might need to find relief for that either through traditional medical practice or through untraditional, such as healings, Reiki, meditation, massage, etc. The fourth one is your unknown influence down here, and it's the Ace of Swords, which is really cool. So this is something you may not know about. The aces are, you know, a good sign of providence in your life, and they're generally very positive. The Ace of Swords is the one that has a little bit of a sting in its tail, like the scorpion. It generally comes about when we see something like a separation or divorce or dissolution of something. And you've actually got two cards that symbolize this happening, because the Justice card is has a very similar background energy. It can pop up when we see things like divorce or separation, or as I mentioned, businesses dissolving. So with the Ace of Swords, given this is an unknown influence, if again, as I said, there is something going on with legal situations, then somewhere along the line it is going to work in your favour. It just may be with this one crossed like that it takes longer. So perhaps this card here is reaffirming, and it's right beneath that yes, you'll get where you need to be and it will turn out. You may just need to provide, as I said earlier, extra information or do a little bit more homework or provide some more support around it. It can also be the signing up or the format or forming of a new business or partnership as well. So for some of you, as this is an unknown resource, you might get offered to join a partnership or a team one way or another, or you might get a proposition about becoming involved in a new business plan. This could be to do with your work, or it could be new business ideas. Some of you might have had something like writer's block, and this could be passing there, and ideas might be coming back into your mind. So there's positivity in the Ace of Swords, but often it means you've had something before it that was causing angst or annoyance or frustration, but it is passing. So kind of like, it almost feels as though there are two different scenarios that could be going on here for you. So one that's got a hold up, but something else that comes up possibly out of the blue that starts things moving again. Your fifth card is the past influence, and we see over here the Three of Wands. Now that card usually always refers to expansion, and often with your career. If you're not in a working realm, then it's your studies or your education, and if you're not being educated, then it's your passionate side of life. So it's about growing and taking on the bigger picture in life. And often if we're referring back to a career, this can be growing a personal business, or it can be finding that you are climbing up the ladder in your career, that you are being rewarded, or you are taking on a bigger role or a bigger challenge. Now sometimes this means expansion at a global level. So it might mean travel, or moving from where you are, or thinking or pondering about shifting. And alternatively, it can mean expansion via things like the internet, so that you can stay where you live, but everything about this job or creative sector expands through modern technology, I guess is what you would call it. It's also about planning for the future. So even though this was the past, it means that perhaps in the past you set goals or you set things up for expansion to come into your life, and maybe it's starting to occur now for you with things like this, the projects that could be coming in, the offers that could be coming your way. Number 6 is the approaching influence. Most people would love to have a card like that in their reading, let alone in a good position like that. So it's the Two of Cups. It's the favoured love harmony card. It often means deep soulmates. It can even reference twin flame energy, ignition. It can talk about a bond that is sincere and loyal and trustworthy and full of harmony and love and tenderness. All of the positive phrases that you would think of when a relationship is nourished and truthful and honest. So this could be coming your way. So obviously there could be new romance coming for some of you. If you're not looking for new romance, this could be acknowledging a current beautiful relationship that either grows further or grows deeper, or the bond is blooming to a better level. It can also mean fertility, so possibly between two people forming a conception of a pregnancy. It can mean something too like even the birth of a baby coming into the home, or someone new, even a pet coming into your home as well, that creates love and happiness and, you know, a special energy. It's also about partnerships, so this can be again about business partnerships coming your way that are very successful. Now remember, the beginning message that you guys had was that you have reached a point of divine manifestation. So this reading is folding out quite nicely for you in terms of the things that seem to be coming within it. We get down here to card number 7, and this is your inner resource or talent. And again, this is a mighty powerful card, the Chariot. He has 3 moons hanging off him. And what did I say at the beginning? We've just gone through the 3 eclipses which formed the trine. They were very powerful. And for some of you, they will have ignited things of movement, change, and possibly manifestation energies. So if this is your inner resource and talent, this is strength, understanding, spiritual guidance, movement, great awareness of, you know, both sides of life, how life works, the physicality of it and the emotional structure and the spiritual structure all coming together to form power and charging and growth and knowledge and awareness. You know, it's a powerful card. It can also refer to movement as in shifting or buying a car or road trips or travel. Sometimes this can mean applying for a new job and finding that you do have a new job and you are moving a little bit. And this could be because you might have planned this some time ago with that 3 of Wands over there, with this idea of expansion. So it's a great card that tells you about great strength and also manifestation. Card number 8 is how other people see you. And interestingly enough, that's a card that talks about rest and rejuvenation and reclaiming yourself and, you know, taking time out to nurture. And this is kind of what we talked about with the Temperance card up here. So maybe some other people see you as taking a bit of time off, or having a retreat, or going on a holiday, or even needing a bit of a break. Some of you may have been burning the candle at both ends, as it were, and other people might think that you need a break or you seem a bit stressed, because you might have had a lot going on, especially with things through here and these type of propositions coming in. So perhaps if that's how they see you, maybe that is what is happening, or maybe you should think about quietening it down, or indulging in meditation or a retreat, or thinking about situations. You know, I often think that the swords here right into his mind do something with his mind, so they either really stimulate it and give him ideas, or they are a bit of tension in the head, and we talked about that up here as well. So that a few messages are relaying themselves, and it'll be different for each of you, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. The 9th card is your hopes and fears. Hopes or fears. So she's the Queen of Swords. She's kind of the air sign energy, so she resembles your energy. She is very much about the mind, which you guys are. You know, you're air sign people. You never stop with your mind chat and talk and ideas and activity and action, which is a powerful part of the who you are and how you get where you go in life. So she's emulating that very well. She often needs to take time to sit back and reflect on how she says some things. So sometimes she can use her intelligence that, you know, pushes buttons the wrong way. So maybe for some of you, you're if this is a hope card, you're wanting to be really successful intellectually like her, or to have something come through your mind to give you a new start or new beginning or power and passion. And others of you might feel that this could be an area where you need to concentrate to, you know, temper it down, to balance it, to bring in that temperance card. So it's not a bad card or anything. It just is saying the general feeling of the Queen of Swords is that she is definitely, she has things on her mind, she wants to say things, she wants to communicate, but again it's about how you do it, I think, and that would cover off both sides of the hopes or fears. The final card, the outcome card, the Emperor, your last card is a major arcana. He's known as the Aries energy and often emulates that time period in the year of March and April. And I did say this reading would probably take you through to more than just a month for September. So I'm thinking this card could have something to do with that timing of next year. Some of these things that are going on in here could take themselves all the way through to there, or they may only happen then as well. They may be tied up time-wise, like this offer down here that's coming may be tied up into March or April as well. For some reason. You'll find that out more as time goes on. It will fit into place a little bit more. He can also be representative of a person in your life, such as a lawyer, a legal person, which we thought of over here twice, an accountant, a tax man, a mentor, someone who you go to see who gives you good, solid, logical, citizen type advice. He's quite determined and feisty, and he does things by the book and by the law, so he could often be seen as someone like a judge. Now for some of you he could be a potential new partner coming in. He could be someone that's involved with this feeling over here, and he usually is an older man, and he usually is a fire sign type energy. If not the sun sign, then the rising or the moon. So there again, there's many different perspectives or personas that he can take on within your reading. But I feel he's a good card as an end card because he gives a lot of solid structure, definition, boundaries, and sort of movement forward as you move out of September and into the rest of the year as well. He could also play quite a fundamental, strong role of the month of September. He might be the dominator, if you like, of quite a lot of the strategies that are going on in the month for you. So there we are, Gemini. Yes, as I say, these are quite comprehensive readings, and they take a little bit of stitching together, and they take a bit of stitching together from your end as well. But you've certainly got plenty to think about in there, and lots to look forward to, most certainly. So thanks for joining me, guys. I love it when you like the video and when you sub the channel. That way you won't miss any other uploads. And when you leave your comments, I love reading them all. So have a powerful month ahead in September, full of positive manifestations. Thanks, guys. Namaste.